So I'm pretty sure it's supposed to be Magus, but I call him Magus. So
I call him Magus.
Magus?
Yeah.
Magus makes more sense, I guess.
well, it's like the three magi. So it's like Magus is the singular of magi. So
I thought it was.
What are the three magi?
Isn't mage the singular of magi? Like alumni and alum?
well, not in Latin.
Oh.
I thought that was all Latin, but is alumni not Latin?
It is, yeah.
I think I poked some holes in your theory.
No, alumni, alumnus. What are you talking about?
Magus?
That's exactly.
Magi. Oh.
Yes.
Okay.
And welcome to episode 4 of Rather Be Playing, the podcast where we talk about how we'd rather be playing games than
opening this big box of fun that I've got to my right hand side.
Go on.
I'm not going on yet. I'm just going to leave that one hanging there for a little while. We'll get into it.
All right. I'm Josh.
I'm Elliot.
And I'm Stevo.
And what?
I can't say anymore. We'll get to it. Come on, let's go. Let's go.
Is this part of your surprise later that you've?
It is absolutely part of the surprise, Elliot. I know you, of all people, are going to love this surprise.
I think I know what it is now.
Yeah?
I have an idea now.
Yeah. Let's just say, Elliot, it involves a little game that we might be playing online. Let's just leave it there.
Oh, wait.
For now.
You got a HTC Vive.
I can't tell you anything more.
Oh, no.
Not yet.
God. All right. We'll get... Jesus Christ. All right. Well, other than your big box of fun, Stevo, how are you doing?
I'm doing fantastic. And Josh, you know who I have to thank for that? You, my friend. You put me on to what I would have to call one of the most fantastic games I've ever played in my life. Chrono Trigger. It's been amazing. It has been worth every hour that I put into it. It took me 30 hours total to finish, and every one of them was well spent.
Told you so.
Where do you start with it? Well,
Josh,
we all know where. Go on.
It was a pretty easy wager to think that someone might like Chrono Trigger, Josh.
Well,
fairness.
yeah, I know. I know.
You know what
the year 2017?
Hedging my bets.
What, 22 years after it came out?
Yeah, well, I mean, you did play Super Metroid and liked it.
Well,
Chrono Trigger can drink. We'll get you to like more modern games too, Stevo. That's 3 Super Nintendo classics in a row for you.
One day. Hopefully backlog roulette is kind to me. Maybe I can play something that was made in this millennium. But in all fairness, the Chrono Trigger, it stands the test of time. And other ridiculous puns like that.
Jesus.
I don't know, where do you start with it? You start in a quaint little village with beautiful music playing, and it's so relaxed and it's so charming. And you get to meet your little friend Luca. Elliot, Josh, you're going to have to keep me right. Every single one of these names, you're going to have to tell me whether I'm pronouncing it right or not.
Luca's good.
Yeah, Luca. Unless it's the Italian Lucia.
Yeah, Lucia. Could be, potentially. Maybe she's Italian. But I'll tell you what she is. She's a bit of a genius. She's good with...
You can tell by the glasses.
It's a dead giveaway, isn't it? She set you off on a bit of a fun trip. Well, it's not all her fault, in fairness. And this is another one you're going to correct me, Josh. Marley. It's Marley. Yep. That's how I read it the whole time.
It's Marl.
No, I said Marley too. I said Marley.
It's Marl.
Oh, no.
Good,
it's
okay,
Marley. Hang on.
It's Marl. Look it up.
We're sticking with Marley.
It's Marl.
We can check the Japanese writing because that's phonetic.
I know. Go ahead, check it.
Oh, no, there's no way you're right.
In
This is
fairness,
breaking
I'm going to be
apart.
doing the majority of talking about this, so I'll call her fucking Marley if I want to, okay?
All right. Marley's a
Well-
dog and my wife's old rabbit.
I guess that could be confusing for you then. In
He's
this
also
case,
an old musician. Sorry. Go on.
Marley is also a free-spirited tomboy princess who takes no shit. And that's actually a bit of a recurrent theme with characters in this game. One of the most likable qualities that all of them have is that they stick up for each other and they basically take no shit. Along the way,
It's a pretty coercive. It's a pretty cohesive group of party teammates you got there. They make you like them, damn it.
they really do. And the stories are so well told. The music fits with every single one of them. It just, I guess I have to talk about Frog. When you mention backstories, I don't know if I have ever played a game where I appreciated the backstory of a character as well as Frog's is told.
Frog is so good.
Frog is how to describe him. He's a well-spoken for Shakespearean times, well-spoken swordsman with a tragic past.
He is from the Middle Ages.
He's basically been forced into this life of war and life of
Vengeance.
Vengeance, yeah, because his best friend in the world, who always took care of him when he was a frail little boy, gets tragically struck down, and Frog is disfigured, and the way this is all told to you, just with lines of text and beautiful music playing over the top of it, is just breathtaking. I cannot... I keep saying I can't believe this game was made 22 years ago about everything that Nintendo does. I don't know how I did not have a Nintendo.
This wasn't Nintendo though. This is SquareSoft. So
yeah, that's true. Can we
but
talk
it was
for
only
a
out
second?
on Super Nintendo, wasn't it?
what?
It was only Super Nintendo.
Yeah.
Can we talk for a second about how
DS later.
unimaginative the character names are? You have a frog and you name him Frog. You have a robot and you name him Robo. The main character of Chrono Trigger, you name Chrono. But then you have Marley
Magus
and Luca and Isla.
Magus is a wizard.
Yeah. That's where they just dropped the ball completely. But Frog had a human name. Glenn?
Glenn. You're a marshmallow, Glenn. I almost cried. You're a marshmallow, Glenn. Broke my heart. That one sentence. I thought it was so good.
I'm pretty sure it was the music right then. That's some good.
It was the music too,
man. The music is so good.
I just want to buy everyone in the world a Super Nintendo and make them play this game. It's so good. And I guess we should talk about the rest of the characters. Josh, you mentioned, or Elliot, did you mention Robo?
Yeah.
So Robo is your boy. Again, the lad's a little naive, but he sticks up for his friends, you know?
Yeah.
He gets thrown in a trash chute for it, but we sorted him out afterwards, you know? It was all good. And we took him along, even though he wasn't really sure whether he should come or not. And who else did we have? Ayla, of course, is the tough as nails chief female chief, should I say, of a proud Jurassic tribe, I guess.
Yeah.
Not quite as well spoken as Frog, admittedly, but
not so much.
But again, she's got a lot of charm. Who have I missed? Come on, help me out here, guys.
Magus.
I think that's
Magus.
Magus.
Spoiler alert, Josh! Spoiler alert! You spoiled this on me.
It's a 22-year-old game.
I forget Magus. I wouldn't.
So
yeah,
the thing about it was Josh had warned me that, oh, you're going to meet. So I was talking to him halfway through the game or however long through the game. Josh was like, oh, there's going to be one more party member. And I'm like, don't tell me that. And he's like, oh, but it's about
someone you've already met.
It's someone you already met. And it's going to come down to a question. That's like, Come on, man.
I'm not telling you who it is, but he has long silver hair. But I'm just.
I knew you were going to kill him.
A long-standing problem that we have with Josh. He spoils things, and he claims that they're not spoiling. Oh, that's not a spoiler to say that you met him before. That's not a spoiler to say that it comes down to a choice that you have. Of course,
I knew you were going to kill him, and you said you were going to kill him. I knew you would do it.
I was so tempted to kill him.
I knew what you were going to do. That's why I said it.
Frog is my boy. He needed his vengeance. And when Magus asked him, are we going to fight? And I'm like, he's got to do this. He's got to do this for Cyrus. He's got to do this for his friend that he's promised that he's going to have his revenge. And then, of course, in the back of my mind, I heard Josh going, no, it's going to come down to a choice. And I was like, okay, I guess I won't kill you.
It would have been really funny if he had killed him anyway and then spent the next 10 hours wondering what the fuck I was talking about.
No, I knew straight up.
Who's this guy?
Because you spoiled it, sir.
I'm sorry.
Anyway, but is that all the characters? There's a few here and there. You get to meet Chrono's mother says hello at one point. You get to meet.
She does. She may say that at the very beginning of the game.
I actually really liked Luca's dad, who is clearly the reason that she's really into inventing and creating things. He's a big nerd as well. He's creating armor and different guns for her, and it's just a nice little, gives you an idea of why she might be interested in it, and then you learn a little more about it on down the line. You get a bit more of her backstory, and that was another really interesting thing. For a game that came out 22 years ago, it gave me reasons to do all the side quests, and it painted the picture so much more vividly and so much more fully. It was, I was amazed that a game coming out 22 years ago would do that. I would have thought it was much more linear. I would have thought it's amazing how well this game has stood up. And I just want to tell everyone to play it. Like, the places that you visit, the things that you do, I scribbled them down here before we started recording. You go from a quaint little village to a castle, to a courtroom drama, to a prison break, to a dystopian future where no plants grow and there's psychotic robots trying to cleanse the earth of humans, to the Jurassic period, to my personal utopia where humans find enlightenment through sleep. Love it, dudes. that I can get on board with. To Haunted Castle. Okay, it's not quite a haunted castle, but Magus's castle. It's basically a haunted castle. To a flying fortress, to the destruction of the world, to the end of time. I just, guys, I can't say enough about this game. It is just all around a fantastic game. I'm gushing about it. It's brilliant.
Would you be interested in playing Chrono Cross now, do you think?
I am, actually. So I think, Josh, you mentioned that it's about a side character, Shala.
No. I mean, she's sort of makes an appearance, but she's not. That's it. It is
okay.
The main character, as you haven't. Yeah.
Yeah, it's totally different. It's kind of like tangential. I don't know.
Yeah. Instead of time hopping, you're dimension hopping, and it stars a guy named Surge instead of Chrono. So it's a little different.
Yeah, but I thought Shala's story actually just kind of disappeared. So when you mentioned her, I thought maybe that would have been a good place for them to pick it up, but it wasn't even tied in that tightly.
It's not a direct...
Yeah. Well, that's one of the things that people had issues with when it first came out, was that, I mean, while the story itself and it was great overall, there's like that one little thread where everybody's like, what happened to Shala? And so, I mean, she does kind of, you do find out what happens to her in Chrono Cross, but it's like a very minor part of the story.
Yeah.
So,
man, you have to at least watch the CG intro to Chrono Cross, because it's fucking phenomenal, and it's got probably the best single piece of video game music ever.
I will agree,
and it's done by the same guy who did Chrono Trigger, and like the guy Mitsuda, who we talked about before on the show.
When you say CG, was it also on Super Nintendo?
PlayStation 1.
It was PS1.
Okay.
Yeah,
but
it's
that reminds me though about Shala. Did you ever find Janice?
Don't. He's taking the piss out of me right
now. Did you find him? I remember you asking me what happened to Janice. And...
For some reason, I remember the scene where he gets dropped in the middle of the forest, and Ozzy, by the way, the greatest name for a villain in video game history, Ozzy. If that doesn't scare the shit out of you, I don't know what will. But Janice gets dropped in the middle of nowhere, and Ozzy picks him up, and I assumed that was occurring in my time or in current times, but then when I watch it back again, obviously that was Magus, and I'm a complete idiot. Which Josh likes to remind me.
I do every now and again. If you're gonna get mad at me for the one thing, I'm gonna make fun of you for the other thing.
For spoilers.
So Josh, I guess the question is, are you as thankful that I put you on to Doom as I am that you put me on to Chrono Trigger?
I'm so glad though that you loved it that much.
I know, me too.
I mean,
it was so good. How could I not be hyped right now?
Yeah, I mean, like, you loved Link to the Past, and I know that was a beautiful segue, and I'm dragging it back. But
it's fine. Don't worry.
You loved Link to the Past. You loved Super Metroid, and about as much as I expected. And I kind of thought that it'd be a similar level of enthusiasm going into Chrono Trigger, but it is like it being a JRPG, and like my history with it and Josh's history with it, like it stands above pretty much any other in that era. Yeah. And we're so glad to just see you kind of share that enthusiasm. That's fucking great. It makes me want to play
I guess
again.
As well, the fact that I haven't played any other JRPGs really, and I'm not sure.
It's all downhill from here. Don't even bother.
It was my first one, so yeah.
Well, I can't pretend that I'm going to go play a load of Final Fantasies and stuff after this. That's not necessarily what this is going to do for me.
It's a good gateway drug, though. It really. It's a good step towards that. But
so where do you go from here? You go to Final Fantasy 3 on the Super Nintendo. Is that right?
Yep. That's what I did.
Yep.
And then I would guess
first one's free. He said
you'll love it
from
too.
From there to Final Fantasy 7.
I like 6 more, but a lot of people will fight me on that one. So.
Whoa! 3 is 6. What just happened? Yes. I'm so confused.
That's what he meant. That's what he means.
3 is 3.
Why
is
would
6.
you do that to me, Josh? I'm trying to learn here.
Honestly, Stevo, I'd go to 10 after 6 in terms of like popular and approachable.
10's pretty good.
Anyway, this is nonsense, and I've already said I'm probably not going to do this. And as you both know, I'm not a big fan of reading, so I probably need to get back to Western RPGs at some point.
Hold on, I got to change my backlog roulette game. All right, Steve.
Potentially back to a good linear first-person shooter, like he's segueing again. Doom.
Perhaps Doom.
The first one was much better. You ruined it.
Ruined it? Elliot ruined it.
So yeah, I finally did finish Doom. I did have a lot of fun with it. It was fun as hell.
Oh, I see what he did there.
Did you plan that out before the show? Did you think
I could?
How could I?
I did, but I honestly probably would have said it anyway, just because it's such a common phrase. So, yeah. Anyway, so yeah, I played through it, and I did it on ultra violence difficulty, which is the highest one you can choose at the outset. Once you beat it, I think it unlocks like 2 more ridiculous ones, which I honestly have no desire to go back and play it again. I mean, it was fun. It's a nice linear experience. I really enjoyed the gunplay because it's just so frantic and ridiculous that you're just constantly jumping and strafing and shooting everything in sight, just trying not to die. And
oh man, it's so fun.
On the mode, everything was killing me in like 2 or 3 hits, so I had to constantly do the glory kills in order just to stay alive, which is fine. It's a nice way to, 1, get a couple seconds of invincibility, and 2, it's also like breaks up the action, so you punch the guy and then just you're back to running around killing everything.
Yeah, it is pretty smart. It gives you an idea. It gives you a couple of seconds to scope out who else is around, who you got to kill next, and work out whether you need to switch guns, which is something that Doom does that not that many first-person shooters do, which is really requires you to use all the different guns in your arsenal because you run out of bullets so frequently, and because there's so many different types of.
So you say that. So one of the it's not really an issue so much as just something that kind of happens if you're looking for all the secrets and things like that. So one of the rune trials gets you a perk that if you maintain over 100 armor, you have infinite ammo. And if you level that up,
Really?
you can also get, if you have more than 75 armor, then you have infinite ammo, which, yeah, once you have that, you just put that on and then you get the micro missiles attachment for the assault rifle, and you just hold down right click the entire time and left click the entire time you're playing.
Game beaten.
Wow.
Yeah, I mean, the thing is, I guess maybe it was just because of the difficulty I was on, but like after 2 hits, I'm back below 75 or 100 armor. But yeah, that's for the most part, unless I was switching to like the shotgun or something, I'm basically just trying to punch guys to get my armor back up so I can go back to using infinite micro missiles.
It's pretty smart. If you're playing it on highest difficulty, I guess you got to do that kind of thing.
Yeah, I mean, it was still fun. I mean, it's still kind of ridiculous because you're still trying to dodge everything, even though you're kind of killing everything relatively quickly. But
Remind us about the story again.
What story?
There is a bit of a story, and the good thing about it is there is no story.
Well,
somebody tries to tell you a story, and you tell them basically to,
jog on.
Take it elsewhere. Yeah.
So there's the story. The story is like, okay, you're on a Mars base. They were tapping into Hell's power in order to, I don't know, get power. Basically, the infinite power of the cloud. I mean, Hell. And so, yeah, and so you're Doom Guy, and Doom Guy does not give a shit. Basically, every time someone's telling him,
Josh, doesn't he?
No, he doesn't.
That is Doom Guy.
His name is Doom Guy.
Doom Marine, isn't it? Doom Marine.
It's Doom Guy. Anyway,
okay.
And
question
so
Josh.
every time like someone tries to tell you anything about the story, your first reaction is to punch the thing that's talking to you, or punch the thing they just told you not to punch,
or flip them off, or
yeah, that too. I mean, I'll admit at the beginning I liked it, but then about halfway through the game, I'm like, okay, it's kind of getting old. I just want to shoot things now. I don't even care that he doesn't care anymore. Just get me to the next point where I shoot things. So it's an interesting idea, and I don't mind it, but after a while, I'm just okay, whatever.
So I've only played a few hours of it, and every time I play, I forget the reload button. And it's happened so frequently that I'm thinking there is no reload button.
There is no reload button.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's a great... I love that because it's
until...
It's about shooting and killing. And it's like, take out everything that could possibly stand in between you and shooting and killing. Even the reload button.
I mean,
animation.
For weapons like the shotgun that do need to reload, then okay, there's that. But it just happens automatically in between each shot. It's not like...
It's not even that's just like a cock. Like you just recock it. Like
no, well, for the regular shotgun, eventually you get a double barrel shotgun where it takes a second for the guy to go and talk and put 2 rounds in.
Cool.
But it's still relatively quick. So, it's just
awesome.
The entire game is just running and shooting. I do like that they kept the secrets thing in there.
Yeah. It really kept you in a level for longer than you needed to be there after you'd finished the main.
Well, and the thing is like after at the end of I think it's like at the end of like level 4 or something, they introduce getting weapon upgrade points for killing enemies, and there's 5 points you can get, and if you kill all the enemies in a level, you get all 5 points. So basically, I would just kill everything, wait for the little 5th star or whatever to ding, and then go back and run around the level a million times trying to find all the secrets I missed.
Yeah.
Which actually reminds me of another thing that I did every single time was I was not very cognizant of power-ups. So like I'd usually finish a fight and then look up and be like, oh, there's a quad damage there.
I tried to explain that to you while you were Twitch streaming that one time. I was like, look above you. There's a quad damage there.
Well, I know you did. But I mean, and every now and again I'd be like, oh yeah, I see that. But most of the time I'm just too busy worrying about the guys trying to shoot me and me trying to kill them that I'm not really looking for the power-ups so much as just trying to scramble to somewhere else to go. I
don't know how you could kill all of them without using the power-ups.
Patience and also infinite micro missiles. But yeah,
the other things about Doom that really stood out for me were music and sound effects. Though
the music,
the music is amazing. It's just hardcore death metal, or I'm not sure exactly what you would call it. Really loud screaming guitars, but that first it must be the end of the first mission, is it? Where you just pick up the shotgun, you walk into the elevator, and the music cuts out all quiet, and he just reloads the shotgun just as the elevator doors open and the music kicks in again, and it's perfect. It just hypes you up for the rest of the game.
It was a pretty good moment. The sound effects, but everything was great. I mean, shotguns sounded like shotguns. Everything felt like it had weight. It was great. I really enjoyed the music, but the problem was I'm not entirely sure how much variety there was in the music, because when I'm in the middle of a fight, the last thing I'm paying attention to is how the music sounds right now. I'm scurrying every direction, trying not to die. So
I noticed that like at the start of a fight, you'd walk into a room and then it's just like, you're like, yes, time to blow some stuff up.
Oh yeah, okay, it does do the hyping up. Yeah, I'll admit that does happen. And that's usually also the cue is like, oh, this room has a fight in it. Go. But it's a lot of fun. I finally beat the damn thing after putting it off for so long. Final boss it's actually kind of disappointing. The final boss, it was okay.
It was surprisingly easy, I guess. It
was just a bullet sponge. It wasn't necessarily hard. It just took forever to kill. So and
I did like that the game had a bit of variety as well. That it had the challenges.
Oh god, screw the rocket launcher one. Holy crap, that took me forever.
That wasn't the one that took me forever. The one that took me forever was the one where you only had 1 health point.
Yeah, this was one of those too. You had 1 health point and rockets. And
okay, maybe
you basically couldn't die, or couldn't get hit, and you couldn't hit yourself with a rocket. So it was just that one took me forever, but I finally got it done. I did a pretty good job collecting all the secrets and stuff in the game. I don't remember what my final total was, but I would say probably at least like 80%. So nice. I think I got most of them. But
I would also recommend you check out there's an arcade mode just for jumping in, playing at a level as quick as you can with as many kills as you can with as much variety as you can. And they rank you. It's a leaderboard thing. Potentially, we could all jump in and play each other.
I can give that a shot. I'll see what that's like, I guess.
A forfeit, if we could come up with one. Although I'd probably lose, so maybe we don't want to do that.
I'm usually never much of a fan of time trial stuff, but I can give it a shot. So.
And one last note I would tell you about it. I highly recommend checking out, Danny Dwyer, who used to write for GameSpot. He used to do documentaries as well. He had a couple of good shows that they would do weekly or whatever on GameSpot, and he's got a new site. He did a Patreon for it. It's No Clip. He did a documentary about how Doom was made, what Doom 4 was going to be, and how it became Doom, as we know, as you just played. And it's really, really interesting. It's fantastic watch. It's about an hour long, and it goes through everything from how they went back to the old style Doom, just killing everything simple as possible, and the same old enemies that you would recognize, but obviously upgraded for the modern day, and music. Touches on everything. It's great.
It's definitely a good move. I remember playing like a little bit of Doom 3 back when it came out. Not a whole lot, but it was. Yep. They kind of went the fear route with that game, with just
it was
not survival horror, but just trying to make it scarier.
It was jump scares left and right, and shitty mechanics, like you couldn't equip your flashlight and a gun at the same time.
That's right. Yeah, I remember getting about 3 hours into it and then just getting lost. Not knowing where I was meant to go next. And I was like, if this is going to happen again in the game, probably don't want to be playing it.
Yeah. And it came out around the same time as Half-Life 2. So it was like,
well, bad timing.
I'm just going to go play this then.
Could play Doom 3 or Half-Life 2. Yeah. But that's in the meantime, I also managed to finish another game, and so did Elliot, apparently. It's a little fun jaunt through the wilderness, if you will.
Oh, I thought you were talking about Axiom Verge here for a second.
No, that's
which you also happened to finish.
I did, but we'll talk about that one later.
Josh finishes all the
episode.
games.
That's insane. Axiom Verge is great, though. Speaking of like Metroids and Metroidvanias, and it's hard, but
I'm dying to play it. I'm actually going to pick it up on a PSN sale whenever I can. And
it's on sale now. Get it.
Is it
That's
10?
When I bought it.
$10?
I think it was $8.
never.
I think it hasn't been below 10 because
never
I'm
going to go under 10.
Maybe it was 10, but it was worth it. So
you should buy it. You should like. I've read the story of the developer and like how and why he did it, and it's so heartbreaking. And I was like, oh man, I have to buy it now. It's like this one guy, he did it all himself for like his kid. And I don't know if I can't remember now if his kid was sick or if his kid, like, he wanted to inspire them or something like that. Anyway, it was super sweet. And
we will talk about it next time.
We'll talk about it all later.
I'll pick it up right now, Ellie. Will that make you happy?
It will. It's for a good cause, too.
I guess we'll roll back into the game that we were meant to be talking about.
Since every segue we're doing today seems to be falling short because of Elliot.
Elliot actually finished a game this week. We should acknowledge this.
But not the one he was supposed to. But
hey, I think this is the first game I finished during the tenure of this podcast.
Yeah, you beat a 3-hour-long game. Congratulations.
Yeah, I still haven't finished Metroid Prime. I still haven't finished The Last of Us, but I made progress. I actually played some today.
You played The Last of Us today?
Yeah.
How much of it did you play?
I usually play like 30, 45 minutes at a time.
Was that to poke me in the eye? Or why exactly haven't you been playing The Last of Us? You play 30 minutes before you come on. You should be ashamed of yourself. It's the greatest game ever, Elliot. How many times do I have to say this? Chrono Trigger was fun and all that. Super Metroid, great crack. But none of them are The Last of Us.
You change your tone.
He just jumps in every now and again to remember that the main character's name is Joel.
Joel, that's right. No, it's really good. It just takes so much out of me emotionally and physically that like when I finally get around to being able to play a game, like at the end of the day, The Last of Us is just too much to dig into. I usually want to just unwind with Rocket League or something lighter, such as Firewatch, which is what we all played.
For the third segue.
Firewatch was a little heavy at times as well.
Yeah, it was heavy, but there was no like combat. There was no. Yeah. It was purely story based. It reminded me a lot of Virginia. If you guys have played that much,
I have not.
I haven't picked it up yet. But
it's pretty much the same thing. Like first person, entirely story based, remote locations. Wait, should we take a break first and then get into?
Well, let's just talk about the game. A little bit about Firewatch. Yeah, what is it about?
Tell us the premise here.
You are a middle-aged man who has taken up a job as it takes place in like the late 70s, early 80s, and you take a job as I don't know what you'd call it,
I think it is a Firewatch. Isn't
Firewatch? That's just what it is.
Firewatch.
They put you up in a tower for the summer, the driest and hottest season, and in the middle of a national park. He mentions it's a 2-day hike to get there. It sounds like it's somewhere in Wyoming or Colorado. Yeah. And he's up there and weird shit starts to happen. And your entire interaction is with this woman who is in another tower that you can barely see kind of on the horizon. And it's through walkie-talkie. But the conversation between you two is pretty much all like the vehicle for character development of your guy.
But the dialogue's so good.
It's like really good.
They made the characters really real. And the guy who does the voice of Henry, I can't remember his name off the top of my head, but he did like Mad Men. He's been in a bunch of other things too. Like he's an actual actor.
Yeah. Who is it in Mad Men?
He's not one of the main characters. He's one of like the secondary characters.
Yeah.
He was just in something else I was watching the other night too. American Gods. He's in that as well.
It's Rich Summer.
Rich Summer.
That's it. No, Rich Summer is his name, like in real life. In Mad
totally
Men,
different guy. Not the guy I was thinking of at all.
He's Harry.
It's Harry
Crane.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
Never mind.
Yeah. He was also in L.A. Noire. He was wasn't he a barman in L.A. Noire? He was a barman. No. He wasn't the main character, Elliot.
No.
He was a barman in one of the quests.
Are you telling me he was a barman, Stevo?
It's not him, Stevo.
Was he a barman?
Stevo, I know who you're thinking of. It's not him.
Okay. Well, while Elliot's looking that up, though, the dialogue between the two characters, like they make everything sound like it flows very naturally. The conversations just sound like they would be actual conversations you'd hear in that scenario.
Yeah, I don't think I've ever played a game that the voice acting was as good. They're both so real, so natural. The banter, as you say, is so back and forth. It's perfect.
Are you thinking of...
He's still on that?
Okay, so these are the two guys I think you're confusing.
Oh, I think you're right, actually. He's on the ball.
So the guy on the top is the voice of Henry, which is
that's the guy I know.
And you're thinking of Paul Kinsey, who is
you're right.
The other guy.
Okay, gotta hold my hands up and say, Elliot's right. Let it be said.
I've got it on tape.
I really thought so. Firewatch. It's by the Campo Santo guys, which are they're the Idle Thumbs podcast, famous for that. I thought it kind of said a lot about them that they were able to. This was their first game, and it was very narrative driven, very heartfult, very
the first game together, like as Campo Santo.
Yeah. Sorry, of course
they've all worked on games.
Yeah, they all worked at different places. Telltale, Bethesda. What's the other big one?
This episode is brought to you by Idle Thumbs.
But they're interesting dudes, and obviously that was where I heard of it in the first place. Listening to Idle Thumbs, and they were talking about it coming out. So I was always going to buy it, always going to check it out. And I know a few people were a little disappointed with it, mainly because of the ending, which obviously we'll get to. We'll have a little talk about it in more depth, spoiler wise. But it kept me gripped the whole way through.
Yeah,
I wasn't disappointed at all.
It didn't overstay its welcome. It was
right,
exactly the length it needed to be for what it was. I thought it was really well paced.
For me, this is the perfect length of a game. It's how long did it take you to finish it?
I wasn't paying much attention, but I would have guessed like 4 hours or so. It was.
Yeah,
I wouldn't say it was more than 5. I did it over 2 days, 2 playthroughs, 2 sessions.
Yeah. Ideally, every game that I play would be between 4 and 8 hours, and perfect. It would just keep you thinking, keep you engaged, keep you. Ideally,
you just played a game for 30 hours that you said you loved every second of, though.
I know, but it doesn't mean I want to go back and replay it or follow that up with a game the same length. I actually need a palate cleanser more like a Firewatch or more like maybe even Virginia. I believe that's 25 minutes or something.
I think it's about the same length, and it's so similar. I think it really reminded me of it. There's no combat. There's just exploration in an open area and a lot of dialogue, but there's no spoken dialogue. That is a difference. Just remember that. Actually, there's no written dialogue either. It's all contextual and gestures and interactions. Man,
there's another one that came out recently that I was looking at. It's like a house in the mountains.
What became of Edith Finch?
Maybe that's it. I feel like there's maybe that is it. I'll have to take a look. But yeah, there's one that like another kind of like walking simulator type game that looked interesting that I was going to check out at some point.
Yeah, I want to play that one. I've heard a lot of good things, and I think you guys should try Virginia. It's a really quick one.
Yeah, I'll take a look.
We're going to start to get into spoilers here, so we'll table the rest of this discussion for the end of the episode. And for now, we will take a break and come back in a minute here. And we are back. What's going on right now? Steam sale, right? You guys getting anything?
Oh, my wallet. My poor wallet.
So as of the recording, it's day 1 of the summer sale. I didn't really see anything jump out at me too much. But personally, there hasn't, I don't know. I usually wait till games are really cheap, like $15 and under. And these days, it's oftentimes like old PS3 era games that are like now on PC, and there's no system that plays. There's no modern, like PS4 doesn't have backwards compatibility.
Yeah,
so
I've got a good example of one of those actually. Binary Domain. is up there for $5 at the moment, and I've heard it's just a bit of a fun shooter.
Yeah,
and
I've heard good things.
Yeah.
Waypoint Radio are doing, not to plug another podcast again,
listen to every other podcast,
are doing a book club thing about it. So I'm interested just to play it and listen along, see what people are saying about it. It's meant to be a bit of a fun shooter, and
that's why I picked it up. So
yeah, exactly.
A good one
just to play when you get home in the evening and don't want to dig into something too difficult and too time consuming.
Like Last of Us.
Don't, my poor heart.
Yeah. So do you have Binary Domain already on PS3?
I think it might have been PS Plus, because I think I do have it.
Yeah, I think you're right. Yeah. But yeah, that's what I find myself just purchasing games I already have on PS3 or 360
because you don't want to boot a PS3.
and I just want to have it on something that will be backwards compatible forever.
Yeah.
You know? And that's so nothing really jumping out.
The other one that you mentioned, Elliot, was Virginia. It's only $2.50 at the moment, so I was thinking I'd pick that up, play it through pretty quick. We can all chat about it. Josh, have you played it yet?
No, I could. I honestly, I never even heard of it until Elliot mentioned it, so I'll have to take a look.
Might be worth taking a little look at.
Yeah,
for $2.50, sure. I mean, I'm getting Pony Island. Well, actually, while we were recording, one of my friends sent me a copy of Pony Island because he's like, "Don't buy it. I already have a copy. I can send it to you." So,
what is
Pony Island? It's not what it sounds like. Pony Island is one of those, like, I don't want to say escape room games, but it's kind of the same sort of interface type thing. So the thing is you've got a computer in front of you that has a game on there called Pony Island, and then weird shit starts happening. Like as you start getting into like the computer and finding out what the hell's actually going on, stuff like that. It's just kind of like a weird mind trip game type thing. It's pretty basically the extent of my knowledge about it, but it's not about an island filled with ponies.
Oh wow! And Dishonored 2, Josh, you said that it's down to $20. I might have to pick that up. I really enjoyed the first Dishonored. I played it on PS3 and really enjoyed the trophies in it. I haven't platinumed it yet, but it's...
I thought you were going to say like something about the game. I really enjoyed the game.
The game was shit, but holy damn, those trophies! Oh my god,
the game was fantastic, but it was made a little frustrating by seriously slow load times on the PS3. The PS4.
You've been saying PS3 this whole time.
Sorry, I meant the PS4 remaster.
Okay.
What was that in the PS4?
Yeah, that had bad load times. I remember
the load times were disastrous, but it's an amazing game. And I played the first playthrough. I did full stealth and no kills, which was really fun way to play it.
Yep.
And the trophies are created in such a way that you play a second playthrough, all guns blazing, and but basically not using all the skills. So I might be tempted to do that at some point. But Dishonored 2, I'm thinking this time do it right, pick it up on PC and play it through with an SSD loading those levels. I'll probably appreciate it a bit more, you know?
Yeah, I played the first one on PC and really enjoyed it. I did full stealth as well. $20. I'm not that much in a rush to play it. As much as I enjoyed the first one, I could still hold off a little bit. So,
holy shit.
Maybe
that was our game club game.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, it was.
I was the only one.
It.
I was the only one to beat it during that time, and then Stevo beat it later.
So it was you, me. It was the three of us plus Abel and like
Mike.
Someone else too, Mike Gray.
Yeah.
It was Mike.
So 5 of us. And it took us a good 2 weeks to all find a game that we all hadn't played and were willing to play.
It was such a perfect game as well. Why didn't we play it?
I don't know why you didn't play it. I played it.
The only one who played it was Josh.
Sorry, Josh.
Will play anything.
It's Destiny all over again, although this time Dishonored was good.
Although this time it was a good game.
That's literally what I said. But yes.
Shots fired. Destiny fanboys are coming for you, Stevo.
But other than that, I'm looking at Evil Within, because honestly, I could use a good survival horror, and after E3, Evil Within 2 looks pretty interesting, so I might as well see what the first one's all about. Shadow of Mordor, I've heard mixed things about it, but it's $4 for the whole thing, so I'm
You said it's a Game of the Year edition. That has got to be some kind of just misprint on Steam. So pick it up as soon as you can.
I might have to,
I've seen them do that with the time that we picked up.
I should check.
Sleeping Dogs, Elliot. Do you remember I picked up 3 copies of it?
It was like $5
because they had accidentally put it up for $3.60 or something like that. And a fantastic game! Well worth $3.60.
Here, I'm gonna push these through now. I might as well just gonna pick them up now because it still says $4. So
yeah, get on it.
That's sorry. What game was that again?
Shadow of Mordor.
Shadow of Mordor, yeah. I got that on PS4 back when I got the PS4 and I needed something to play on it. And it was
done.
Good enough at the time. I don't know if I'd get it again.
So I also picked up Kingdom of Amalur Reckoning, which I played a bit of it before. It was a lot of fun. It's got some flaws, but it's like... That's
Kurt Schilling's game.
Yeah, the one game from, what was it, 989 Studio? No, not 989.
No. It was his jersey number. 34 Studio. I don't know what it is. What?
Anyway, but the game, it's a lot of fun, but it's a really... I don't know. It's not polished isn't the right word, but it never took off. It's like it's almost like a single player MMO type game, but it's just, I don't know. It's a fun, mindless game, so I might give it another shot.
I think I played all of 15 minutes of it. The controls felt good. Shooting arrows was fun, and a little bit of the hand-to-hand combat. But when I got into the first conversation, it was so bland. I could only think, what would I be doing playing this when I could be playing a real Western RPG?
It's not a game for the story. But I mean, to be fair, a lot of Western RPGs don't have great stories either.
So I've been waiting for that collector's edition to come down to a good price, and so that's what I'm thinking about too. I've got FF10 Remaster on PS3 again, as I mentioned. I don't play my PS3 anymore, so $12 on Steam is tempting as well.
Oh, and you could platinum it like I did.
Not on Steam. Well, I guess
whatever. Same thing.
They have
it's not the same thing, guys. I gotta say, Sony something about it.
Those Dishonored trophies.
Platinum
game is shit, but great trophies.
Actually, guys, you know what it was? It was the only single player game that I ever platinumed.
Metal Gear Solid 5.
Boom. That's the difference. The amount of effort that I actually put into that, the satisfaction that I got for that platinum trophy, something changed. Something changed in my tiny little brain.
It awakened something in you.
Well, it didn't really, because I haven't got one since. But in theory, it did.
As long as I have one for Rocket League, I'm sure.
Yeah, but not single player. That's what I was saying.
Right.
As long as I'm having fun, and the trophies aren't monotonous. Like, I love the Uncharted games, but I'm not going to sit there and kill 45 guys while hanging from a ledge to get that.
I fucking did that, and it was so worth it.
I did that. It was totally worth it. But it was so annoying.
No.
I broke for Uncharted 1 crushing mode with the remaster. I broke a PS4 controller doing that.
Really?
Yes. It was very frustrating.
Yeah. Uncharted 1 is different though, because you unlocked shit in the game by doing those things.
Also, I broke 2 controllers platinuming Metal Gear Solid 5. Both of them, the right trigger.
The thumbsticks. And that was right.
And get this, the worst thing about it was I broke it because when I was sneaking up behind someone and choking them out, I was tapping the right trigger. You know what the best part about it is? You don't even need to tap it. You can just walk up and hold it down. Josh told me that after I was complaining about having broken a second controller. Oh, like, believe me, I thought about breaking a third one right then and there. Anyway, so this isn't like us. We're not picking up that many things on Steam, not adding to these backlogs. I guess it's time to start chipping away at them again, yeah?
Yeah.
What's the best way to do that?
The only way. Okay, lads. Who's up first?
All right, backlog roulette time. I'll go first again. Why not?
Good.
So, I'm not entirely sure about the one I've chosen for myself, but I figure I will at least give it a shot. So, I'd rather be playing Assassin's Creed.
Oh no!
The first one. I want to see what all the fuss is about.
Oh, that just sounds painful.
Says it's 15 to 18 hours on how long to beat. I figure why not? I'll give it a shot. I'm not going flag collecting or any of that bullshit. I'm just going to try and beat the game. So,
okay, are we not?
I've false started about 100 times and never got anywhere.
As far as I remember, we're not allowed to choose the same game as last time for each other.
Correct.
We made a gentleman's agreement not to.
Not picking the same game. So, all right, who's up next
Makes
for me?
it more interesting. All right, Josh, for you, I have chosen, in anticipation of one of the games showcased at E3, God of War.
Which one? The first one?
Yeah.
What will he
Start
play
at the beginning.
God, you're gonna make me break out the PS3. I have the collection.
I guess so. Yeah.
All right.
It's on Vita as well. God of War 1 is on Vita. Yeah,
I don't have it. So
well,
I have it on PS3. So
choose your poison.
All right. Oh, okay. I started it once. I did like the first level, I think, but whatever. Okay.
I think you'd really like the hardest mode, which you don't unlock until you beat it. But God mode, I think it's like a really good, challenging, fair, hard mode.
Okay, maybe I'll take it. I'm probably not gonna play it twice, but whatever. I'll give it a go.
It's a quick game. Yeah.
Okay.
All right, Stevo.
So, what have I got for Josh? Josh, I have got the original Mass Effect for you. Did anyone pick that for you last time, man?
Did we pick that last time?
No, we didn't. Nope.
We didn't.
Oh, because it's like 60 hours long.
Yeah, that's
fine. Josh will get through it. I believe in you, Josh.
I've got a trip. I'm not going to have this done by the next one. I'll tell you.
You are.
Actually,
I bet you will.
At the time that this episode airs, Josh, we will already be in Asia.
Yep. So you will be back, and you will have 2 weeks after you're back to finish Mass Effect. And if I know Josh, I believe he can beat Mass Effect in 2 weeks. Okay, you tell me. You can tell me no right now if you want to.
Can I set it up with controller?
No, it's not. It's very controller unfriendly. Of all 3 Mass Effect games, it's the one that's like, fuck you, controllers. at least it was at the time, but they did. So the PC version doesn't play well with controllers for some reason. Even though
there is a console version.
Yeah.
Oh, hang on.
Weird.
Stop the presses right now. Steam has got controller support now. So
I know that, but it still depends on how it works, how it's all configurable.
You're a smart boy, Josh.
I'll figure it out. It's a mouse and keyboard game usually for me, so I'll figure it out. But whatever. All right.
Okay.
First game. So if I roll a 1, I get Assassin's Creed. If I roll a 2, I get what the hell did you say, Elliot?
I said God of War.
God of War, and then if I roll a 3, I get Mass Effect. All right.
Those are some classics right there.
Oh, I'm playing Assassin's Creed, apparently.
Oh, no! We're not going to have to talk about that, are we?
Oh, yeah.
Can you just talk about that on a different podcast?
No. Sorry, man. All right, well, I'm punishing myself, I guess, a little bit, but we'll see.
You're punishing us, too.
And you, yes. I'm going to talk in detail about it. I'm going to go into the lore.
Okay.
Yes. That's a great callback to our first episode.
All right, Elliot, you're up.
Okay. I have been also inspired by Stevo's 16-bit adventures recently, and I realized that there's a sequel to and I feel like this is stupid because it's a game in a series that I already have on my backlog that I haven't finished. But I'm going to do this one anyway. I picked Metroid Fusion for myself. It's the only 16-bit Metroid that I haven't finished. And I want to get that off my backlog. And it's something I could play on the 15-hour flight to and from Japan.
How many Metroid games are you going to have in your backlog?
Yeah, you're embarrassing yourself, man. All these unplayed Metroid games. Oh, for shame. Well, no. At least you can play this one while you're traveling.
By the time episode 6 rolls around, you've got Metroid Prime to beat, Metroid Fusion to beat, and The Last of Us.
This has got a good shot. I've got a good shot at this.
A 1 in 3 chance. All right, well, for you, Elliot.
Oh, God. I might not even get it.
Yeah, exactly.
I really built that up for nothing.
So, Elliot, for you, I've picked Valiant Hearts, The Great War.
Oh, man.
Lovely little game. You could probably beat it in like 6 to 8, maybe 10 hours. Maybe at most.
I've wanted to play that for so long. Have you heard speaking of, let's just advertise other podcasts on this from now on. But the history what's it called? The Dan Carlin's
revisionist history.
Hardcore history.
Oh, hardcore history. Okay, yeah.
Hardcore history. Dan Carlin did this 6-episode segment on World War I, and I listened to it, and I wanted to throw up and sob most of the way through it. It's so like, yeah, Valiant Hearts sounds like
there might be some sobbing involved.
A great companion to that.
All right, Stevo.
Yeah. Valiant Hearts is a great choice for him, Josh. I played that one myself recently. It's really good. I've got a few different choices here for him. Okay, I'm going to go with... Which one is he going to enjoy the most?
No, don't pick that one.
Which one's he most likely to play? Okay, I'm going to go with To the Moon.
Oh.
To the Moon
play that.
Is a heartfelt little game. I thought that's actually what you were going to pick when you were talking about 16-bit. It was 16-bit, wasn't it?
Well, yeah. It looks like it.
It's that style, but there's more bits now.
Nice little story. It's a quick playthrough. I think you'll enjoy it a lot.
So Elliot's got a 2 and 3 chance to cry.
Yeah.
All right. Hey, Metroid Fusion could be a tragedy. All right. So how does this work?
So if you roll a 1, you get my game, Valiant Hearts.
Okay, so you're always 1, even though I went first. Okay.
Yeah, I'm always 1, you're always 2, Stevo's always 3. That's how it works.
Okay.
So roll a 1, you get Valiant Hearts. Roll a 2, you get Metroid Fusion. You roll a 3, you get To the Moon.
All right.
Let's do it.
Can't see.
To the Moon.
Scrolled. Okay.
To the Moon.
Not playing anything on the flight. It's not on like the App Store, is it? No.
No. Actually, it might be on iPhone, is it?
Actually, I think it might actually have been released on the iPhone, so it might.
I'll buy it.
That's a lot of actuallys there, Josh.
I'll check it. Actually, it might. Actually, I think might have actually.
It happened. Sorry, I started skipping.
Yep. Isn't it?
It is.
I best say I feel like I saw it on there.
Good stuff.
Well, there you go.
Okay, Elliot.
Right.
No excuses.
Or if you had like, the crappiest laptop ever, you could play it.
Yeah. This is fantastic, by the way. You are going to be sobbing your eyes out on an international flight. I can't wait for this.
I am looking forward to this.
All right, Stevo, you're up.
Okay. What am I picking for myself? I'm going to pick something that's a little longer, but it's also long overdue. I am picking Half-Life 2. I know I'm in a disgrace that I've never played it. It's cheating. You're meant to be picking me a short game.
I'll go next, Ellie. You get some time to think about it.
It was like the only game that you had on your list that I had played.
I'm not gonna lie. I'm not gonna lie. I picked a pretty short game on his list, and I was really worried he was gonna go the same route and pick the one I picked for him. So I'm glad it was you and not me.
What have you got for me, Josh?
All right, so another one that you got on your list is Bastion.
Ah, yeah.
It's not terribly long, but it's a fun little game you could probably play in probably a couple days. I think you'll enjoy it. A little action, probably not the same level as Doom, but I think you'll enjoy it.
Yep.
It's got a good story and narration too. You'll like it.
Yeah. I played maybe the first couple of levels, and the narration's really funny. It's a good hook.
The kid just wailed for a while, or raged for a while, or whatever. All right, Elliot, you think of anything?
Any luck, Elliot?
Yeah. So I narrowed it down to 2.
Is it Jack Lumber? Is it Jack? Say Jack Lumber.
I haven't played Jack Lumber, so I can't recommend it personally. I narrowed it down to 2, and I'm doing you a goddamn favor because one of them is about to be remade for PS4, so I'll let you play that version instead.
Okay.
And that was Shadow of the Colossus.
Yeah, I appreciate that because that one was tough. I tried playing that.
Yeah. So we're left with Arkham Origins.
Arkham Origins. Nice one, Elliot.
Yeah.
Okay.
I love that one. It's my personal favorite of the series. I really liked it.
I've heard the story is really good. I was actually planning to hold off playing it till Christmas because isn't it set around Christmas?
Yeah. It's a Christmas game for sure.
Playing it with snow falling outside kind of thing.
Yeah.
But okay, no, I can roll with this.
Just wear a Santa hat while you play it. All right, Stevo. So if you roll a 1, you get Bastion. If you roll a 2, you get Arkham Origins, and if you roll a 3, you get the hell you picked.
Half-Life 2.
Half-Life 2, yes.
Oh man, please be Half-Life 2. You need this.
There's no bad options here.
He's got to not play a classic for once.
Okay. What did he get? You rolled a 1.
Bastion.
Okay. Maybe
Elliot doesn't get to pick anything again.
I know.
Have you still not hit one?
No.
None of my picks have gone 2 roulettes in a row now.
Poor Elliot. Okay, Elliot, I'll tell you what. I've got something special for you.
Oh, yeah, the surprise.
Oh,
the
see,
surprise.
It can roll a 2. I just want to let you know that.
Indeed. Okay, so I've got a little something for you to put a smile on your face. Can you still hear me here? I'm leaning down, picking up a box.
Speaking of Christmas.
So,
What the hell's
picked
that?
up
Like
a
a
little something.
lockbox or what?
We should start posting videos of our chats on YouTube.
Elliot, I picked up a little game called Mario Kart. Mario Kart 8.
For Switch?
For...
No way!
I knew it. I told it.
No way!
Immediately what I thought.
Okay,
Yes!
for those of you listening to the podcast, you cannot see, I'm holding up a Nintendo Switch to our eye.
The hell did you get one?
Which is made all the more joyous by the fact that I have been abusing Josh on social media recently for talking about how he's going to pick up a Nintendo Switch. Because, as everyone knows, I feel Nintendo are a bunch of useless bastards. They can't even provide enough consoles for a human being to buy a Nintendo Switch. I was just as hyped as Josh was about Mario plus Rabbids, except for the name. Obviously, that's still hard for me to say.
And you didn't think to buy 2 of them and let me pay.
and Mario Odyssey and. So Josh was talking about how he's going to have to pick up a Switch, and I was telling him, don't buy anything from Nintendo because they wouldn't produce enough NES classics. And
I knew Stevo, the moment he could get one, was going to get one. And when he said he had a surprise, when you said you had a surprise, I was sitting there going, he's got a fucking Switch.
I never thought that. How'd you get it? Did you order it online or did you?
So I was just doing a little Googling, and I was thinking, if I can find one, I'll pick it up for the laugh. And what came up?
What a laugh.
What came up? But a bundle for $500, and I hate myself. What am I doing spending this amount of money? I'm a terrible human.
You got Zelda again.
So I got Zelda again, but at least I can trade in the Wii U version, and I can trade in a few games for the Wii U. And came with
you needed that the Pro Controller.
Or you can send that copy to your best friend Josh.
Oh, have you got a Wii U?
No, I meant the Switch version.
Since
you have a Wii
U. Yeah, so I've got a couple of controllers here. So Nisha was talking about how she might be willing to play a bit of Mario Kart if I was to happen to pick it up. So that was another excuse in my mind. So
great for relationships. So the bundle had the Switch, the 2 games, and the controller.
Switch, the 2 games, the controller, and a Mario Kart. I said Mario like an American. Did you hear that? I usually say Mario. Mario Kart.
No, it's Mario.
And it's got a case. Yeah, a Mario Kart case.
You need the case. You got everything I have for my Switch. Literally, I have nothing more for it.
Seriously?
Than the Switch, Mario Kart, Zelda, and a case and a Pro Controller.
I have to say, lads, I can't wait to get off this stupid podcast so I can go play this game.
All right. All right.
Wow, what a great surprise. I didn't see that coming for a mile. That's awesome.
I don't know how you missed it.
Congratulations. It's a great purchase.
I'm a terrible person. What am I doing spending my money on this stuff?
And it's funny, like they had that story today. Nintendo responded about all the shortages, and they're like, it's definitely not intentional. And then Stevo goes out and finds one.
Of course he does.
But they admitted that the NES Classic was intentional.
That they limited it intentionally?
Yeah, their words were, we should have communicated better that it was a limited run console.
That's like, this is what I'm saying. Never buy anything from Nintendo.
He says smugly. God damn it, Steve.
I know. I'm the worst. But Elliot, so just to confirm, you have Mario Kart on Switch?
Let's play some Mario Kart.
I'll see you on there in about 15 minutes.
Yeah, you will. I was about to ask if you guys wanted to play Rocket League, but
Okay.
Awesome. All right, let's wrap up the episode. I think we have gone on long enough. Stevo, how can everyone find you?
On Twitter at RBPStevo.
Sounds good. How about you, Josh?
I'm also on Twitter at RBPJosh.
All right. You can also follow me at RBP Elliot. You can follow the official podcast Twitter account, which is at RBPcast. And you can check out our website, ratherbecast.com, where there's a lot more links to Twitch, YouTube, Facebook, and all that other stuff. Yeah, I think that about wraps it up. We will see you guys in 2 weeks now. We're back to our normal schedule.
Yep.
What are you guys working on next week? We're out of town. Anything exciting for you, Stevo?
A couple of trips, actually. Heading to Pittsburgh with my girlfriend for a good friend's wedding. So that's my first time heading up to Pittsburgh. Looking forward to that. Hopefully get a bit of sunshine for it. And then I'm in Chicago for 4th of July, which is awesome. A lot of people who used to be living in DC have now moved out that way. So going to be catching up with a lot of people I haven't seen in a little while. Going to be good times.
Chicago is one of my favorite cities.
And Elliot, you're heading off to Japan?
Yeah. Amy's got a conference in Sapporo in the northernmost island. And then we're going to extend that and hang out in Tokyo and Kyoto for a bit. See some old friends that are still there from when we lived there 10 years ago now.
Excellent.
It's going to be great. And Josh, you'll be in Korea.
Yeah,
completely unrelated and
my little brother's stationed out there with the army, and it's almost like my second hometown, really.
You grew up there.
Yeah, so the wife's never been, so we're gonna take her along and see what she thinks, and it should be interesting.
Fantastic.
Korea's awesome as well. Is it Seoul?
South of Seoul, but
Okay.
it's nearby enough that we can take the subway. So
nice.
Enjoy, lads. I still haven't been to Asia. I'm very jealous, but
it's a good place. Yeah. So we'll be playing these games
eventually.
I guess when we get back at some point. And the next episode, you'll notice when you start watching it, when you start listening to it, that we recorded it like a month ago.
So
I don't know how it worked out this way, but we determined that this was the best way to do things. So it was recorded before even E3 and all that, but it's a fun one. We just kind of...
It's nice and evergreen. We touch on a few different topics. You'll still enjoy.
Yes. I actually haven't heard it. I haven't listened to it since we recorded it, so...
Should probably do that for us.
I don't know if I can
give me something to listen to on the plane.
Might be terrible. Yeah.
All right, guys.
All right, so coming up next will be the spoiler discussion on Firewatch that we're going to move to the end here. So stick around for that if you want to see what we thought about the finer details of the story. Spoiler of the spoiler alert, we all really liked it. But that's about all I've got to say.
Yeah, so for everybody out there, play your games because they're not going to play themselves. See you guys later.
That's good. Thanks, guys.
Adios.
See you later.
So we're going to get into a few spoilers here for Firewatch, talk about a little more in depth about the story and our reactions to it. And I guess I'm going to start off from right at the start. It opens with a kind of text adventure interface almost.
Yeah.
It's breaking down Henry's story, telling you about his struggles with his wife's illness. I believe it was Alzheimer's. Is that right, Elliot?
Yeah.
And he's finding it hard to take care of her, and her family step in and take her back to, is it Australia?
Australia, yeah.
And it's so well written, and it's so really sad. And when I started playing it, I thought that this was going to be the game.
Yeah, I did too. Yeah.
And
what I really liked,
but it was interspersed with you walking through the thing. So I mean, it was just setting it up.
And I wasn't sure what that was at first. Like I thought it was, he's just going for a walk in the woods because his life with his wife is so hard. And but I didn't realize that was present day, and it was going into his backstory, which is not just going into his backstory, but is having you like create it. Yeah. I've been through that intro twice, and I chose different things, but
it doesn't change too much.
The end result is the same, but how you get there is different, which is
right.
It was more the changes were more substantial than I expected. I thought it was just going to be like Game of Thrones Telltale, like it really didn't matter, but it matters to a point, and then it all. I think the only thing after the intro text that matters, that changes anything, is the picture that you see that is drawn on the sketchbook. Which, by the way, not really ready for that. I wasn't expecting the dong. No.
Yeah, but I mean, it was fine. I was not expecting it.
And I couldn't remember when I saw the dong, because I picked the non-dong picture the first time, and then when the dong picture came.
I did too, so I have no idea what you're talking about right now.
I definitely.
What are you talking about right now, guys? Did we play the same game?
So at the very beginning, in one of the choices you get, it's like you can choose to have your wife draw a picture of you, and the options are like, I don't know, a big burly guy, or like
it's like flex man, like a manly guy, or like a sexy Victoria's Secret.
Yeah. And if you do the Victoria's Secret model pose, which I think is the one that I picked, because that's the one. And
that's the dong one.
Yeah, it shows you the picture that you get, and it's a little, it's like a cartoonish fat guy with or a naked fat guy in the picture, and it's just interesting. It was funny. I was not ready for it.
It made me go like, wait, I couldn't remember what it shows you when you don't pick the dong picture now, because it's jumped out at me. And I guess at the time I didn't realize that that's what the picture was supposed to be until I got the dong one.
I thought that was pretty obvious.
I mean, once I got the dong, I knew what they were doing.
But once you kind of get going into the story, and Henry starts talking to Delilah, or once he starts opening up to Delilah, this was kind of when it starts getting interesting, is because he's never actually met this woman, but he's sitting there confiding in her, and then eventually Delilah does kind of open up in reverse.
That was one thing that I thought was the least natural part of the dialogue. It was how cold they were, how cold Henry was to her when he first gets there. I felt like it was unnecessary, and it was a way to like start his arc further back and show how much their relationship grows. Well,
I don't think so much. I mean, because he took the job basically just to get away. He didn't take it because he was happy about becoming a fire watchman. He just wanted to get the hell away from everything, and
I get that.
He's obviously bitter, and he's angry about how his life is turning out right now.
And he's probably feeling guilty. He's not going to start flirting or trying to chat up this girl immediately when she starts talking to him over a walkie-talkie.
But he's not even cordial with her. He's just like, "Hello."
Isn't that to do with your responses?
Bye.
Well, to be fair, she's also kind of a prick when you first meet her too on the walkie-talkie.
But she admits that she's drunk, and she was just like fucking around with you.
Well, yeah, but I mean, as a first impression, it doesn't really get off on the best foot.
Yeah, but I mean, you could tell she was lighthearted about it. She didn't seem, and he was just like having none of it. Like, I don't know. He does mention, "I just hiked through the woods for 2 days, lady. Like, leave me alone." But
his whole mentality is like, his whole mentality is, "What the hell am I doing here?"
But it's his first day on the job too, and he took this job, and he's talking to someone who's technically his boss or a superior of some kind, and he's just like, "Fuck off." You'd think he'd at least been like, "Thanks. Is there anything else I need to know?" But he's just like, the first "Leave me alone."
Well, I think one of the first questions she asks him is, "So what's wrong with you?"
Yeah, and he doesn't really react to that. He's just like, "Whatever, fuck off."
Right. I think what's he gonna say, that he's out here because he's having serious problems with his wife and he doesn't know how to do it? Yeah. Like, that's a hard thing to talk about. I kind of understand his reaction.
Yeah, that's true. He was just being defensive. I don't know. I went through it twice, and both times it was the only part that I was like, "Why are you being such a dick?" But every part after that, I'm like, is a response I could have seen myself giving, or could have seen someone else giving as a natural response. But just that very first interaction seemed unnecessarily.
You're clearly too nice to douchey strangers.
I'm a nice fucking guy. I'm very friendly.
Yeah, and as they, but obviously they warm up as the story progresses, and and there's definitely bouts where there's hints of flirting and things like that. I mean, nothing ever really happens, but they're mostly because things just start going off the goddamn rails.
Yeah,
but it's
you get the idea that there could be something there.
I think it's implied. I don't think it really matters either way, because to me the whole theme of the story is escapism.
Yeah.
And that even though you're going and you're escaping from your life and doing all this stuff, and this kind of is how the ending made sense to me, was that you still have to go back and confront it. And so the biggest thing that I thought was, and I sat there for a while after the ending, because I thought it was just a really interesting tie. I thought it tied up everything just fine. I mean, there's some open-ended stuff like, does he go back to his wife or things like that? I mean, but I don't think it matters.
Yeah, and the ending, of course, is that he never gets to meet this person.
Right.
That potentially he really wants to, or potentially he's wondering, what if? Is this really what I need? And is this really? But again, is this him trying to escape? Is this him just trying to use something to run away from his real life, which you can't do, or which you shouldn't do? It's
well,
not.
And it parallels the other two characters in the story. There's Brian Goodwin and his father Ned. I mean, so Brian was a kid with his father who was out in the woods, and eventually Brian. It's heavily implied that he accidentally tripped and fell. There's nothing really saying out overtly that Ned killed his son. Even Ned, when you finally confront him over the radio, Ned says it was an accident. He slipped and fell, and I believe him. I don't think that's something you really need to read into.
I mean, you could though. Like, even if he didn't murder his kid, he could have. It sounded like he was an indoorsy kind of kid, and Ned wanted him to be more of a cave diver, and maybe he pushed him into it. Like, you can do it. You can get down this cave, and the kid slips and dies, and then
but that's still
because he didn't tell the police. He went and hid. Like, there's enough of a doubt in there.
So that's kind of what I was thinking, though. I think Ned's story is like a perfect parallel to Henry's. Ned's life sucks now because his son's dead. So he escapes and just sits there and lives in the woods, but he never goes back to confront it. So he's this madman who's sitting there trying to mess with you and Delilah the entire time, trying to keep it a secret, slowly going more and more crazy while he's there. And it's the opposite of, well, not necessarily the opposite, but just a kind of a foil to Henry, who, he's escaping in the same situation, not necessarily because his son's dead, but because his wife is deathly. Well, not deathly. Well, I guess Alzheimer's is terminal, but his wife is severely ill. But eventually, he realizes, I need to go back. So it's just a little dichotomy there.
For me, actually, the story of Brian and Ned was the one part where I was a little disappointed. I don't know if it's because I didn't wander off the beaten track enough to maybe pick up on some of the other things. I picked up on a few of the hints, but I did think it was a bit rushed to go from where you know who this guy is to there's a dead body there. That it just felt a bit rushed to me when so much time had been taken before. Mm-hmm. So that was my only problem with the game as a whole.
Are you talking about like the day skips?
Yeah, and just because you weren't learning that much about them until you find Brian's body.
Well, because so you learn a bit early on. Like, you find the backpack. Delilah's the one that gives you all the backstory up to that point on, like, oh yeah, Brian, what a good kid, and Ned, his father, I don't really know what's going on with him, but he seemed okay. They were always out here camping and hiking and like, I think most of the stuff you find, and actually, I think you do find that before you find the body. So
you find a hideout before the body.
Yeah. So you find most of that stuff there.
Again, maybe because
I picked up everything and looked at it.
I picked up most of the things on my way as well. But what I didn't find, for example, was the things that you were potentially getting sidetracked by or getting made paranoid by. You were thinking that you were being watched at first. And that storyline essentially was brought to a halt if you had found deer. and you had found the tags on the deer, and you had read that, or you had realized that the journals that you had read where you thought you were being studied and Delilah was being studied was actually deer being studied.
Oh, I never saw that.
Yeah, okay, so none of you found that either.
No.
Tags on the deer? Yeah, I missed that part.
So right up to the point where you realize it's Ned who has been messing with you, you still thought the same thing. You thought it was basically, it could have been anyone.
Well, because you do find the pages and stuff about of Delilah and Henry.
H&D. All it says is H&D though.
No, so those, and that was in the little the scientific tents, where they're studying stuff. That was deer. That was deer that were being studied. And if you had wandered off the beaten path in a certain direction that you weren't meant to go to, that there was nothing there, there was actually a deer that you could find with a tag that you would have matched up to those books.
Uh-huh.
And you said, Josh, that you found the turtle, and I can't remember whether I found the turtle or not, but there was stuff off the beaten path. Right. If you are the type of person to just go explore.
And I normally am, which is why I said I'm almost disappointed in myself that I missed some stuff, because I normally am the kind of person that explores the hell out of things, but I think I was just in a rush to try and finish it.
This game, I just kind of beelined it from like checkpoint to checkpoint.
Yeah, I tend to go for them.
I was just gonna say I picked up notes, but I didn't even read them. Like I just skipped. Was like, let's get to the next like story beat.
Really?
Yeah.
No way. I read everything that I came across. But I'm not. I tend to try and look for the main storyline if there is only a main storyline. I wasn't expecting side quests as such or side stories, but they were here to be found, which it makes me think twice about how I'll go about playing a game like this next time. And definitely props to the Campo Santo guys for building it in that way.
Well, I mean, but the thing is, though, you still were being watched.
Yeah.
So I mean, it's not like you were paranoid. You were paranoid about the wrong thing for a large bit of time.
But it makes, oh man, I'm so glad you said that though, because the whole shit with the tent and the towers and the satellites was just like, what the fuck is going on? And I didn't
work this out playing the game.
It never wrapped up. Yeah,
I heard another spoiler cast of this, and that's the only reason I knew about this.
Oh, okay. I thought Stevo was brilliant for a second.
No, I'm at Josh. Au contraire. But
now I gotta go find this fucking deer.
Yep, you certainly do. But for me, because I was so wrapped up in this idea that there was some kind of hidden enemy that I wasn't expecting, and then the story of Ned and Brian was, oh no, it's this guy, oh no, it's this. That was so much quicker than the build-up. I kind of wanted it to, form in front of my eyes a little bit slower. I wanted to enjoy that section of the game. I wanted it to be a third act as long as the first or second act. And am I just imagining that it was much quicker, that it was over in the blink of an eye?
It was quicker, but I didn't mind it that much because it got so, and I didn't find the deer tags, but it got when you're thinking about what could be going on, the conspiracy angle got so ridiculous. It was astronomical. It was at this fever pitch of like, what could be going on? Is there some X-Files? Are they looking at aliens? And then it's like, oh, of course, it's something tangible. It's something that we've been hinted at this whole time. It's something that is real. This is a real story with real people. Like, why was I thinking this? And I mean, it did wrap up quick at the end, but it wrapped up like correctly, I thought.
And it was satisfying.
I mean, I think
it was more or less satisfying.
And I think the reason Stevo is kind of thinking that it started going too quickly towards the end there was just this. That's just general flow of a story. You've got the rising action all the way to the climax, and then the climax was you talking to Ned on the radio.
Yeah,
I thought it was
the
body.
I guess the body would probably be more of the climax, and you're still there for a bit, and then once you're finally have solved the mystery, the denouement, which is the falling action afterwards, is you trying to escape from the fire.
Yeah,
and having that conclusion with Delilah, and then ultimately the revelation that I should go see my wife. So
did either of you select the option that you wanted to see Delilah, to ask her, was it to ask her to stay?
I did.
Yeah,
I said, I don't remember what I picked, but it was basically the option that said that
maybe see you around kind of way.
Something like that. Yeah,
I think I picked the same thing. Yeah.
I said, come back to Boulder. And she was like, go see your wife. I was like,
oh,
immediate shutdown.
Yeah, I should probably do that.
I think it's nice though that you don't actually change Delilah at all. Delilah's her own person. She's doing whatever she does. You're just kind of Henry.
Makes you like her even more. Oh, did you guys do the developer tour?
No, I meant to. I didn't get around to doing it.
So
I played the first, I think, day on the developer tour, and it's really interesting.
Let's take a look.
I like it a lot. It's the Idle Thumbs guys and several other people that work at Campo Santo. Just giving their insight on each part, like what they were thinking. One of the earlier ones is like, this is the first area we really developed and the first time we messed with interaction, and they talk about the music as well, the interactive music and how it works, the software that they use, how it knows which parts of the music to play at different times and how it elicits emotional responses that way. It's just like all these tiny little parts that you don't even notice when you're playing it, but they lend so much to the experience. It's like, it's really cool to see what goes into this sort of thing. Because every now and then I'm like, the game was obviously, in terms of most, like, compared to AAA games and stuff that we usually play, pretty simple for the most part. There's not combat really. It's a narrative.
But simple doesn't mean bad.
Game. Yeah, and I don't mean to say that it wasn't extremely difficult to work on, and it didn't take a lot of work and a lot of time by a team of very talented people. But it's one of those games that you look at and you're like, I could totally do that if given enough time. And then you listen to this and you're like, there's no way I could even make like a tic-tac-toe game. There's so much that goes into this. They have a team of dozens of people who've all worked on amazing games in the past and knew what they were doing, and it was still really hard. I'm just like, fuck, like never mind. It gives you a real appreciation for what goes into the process.
Yeah, sounds like a good reason potentially for me to go back and give it another go.
It's a great reason to play it again. Yeah, for sure. And it's like built into the game. It's not just like an audio track laid over. Like they add these like radio stations that you pick up the tape and listen.
It's a walking tour.
It's literally a walking tour. Like you pick up the cassette tapes where you want. But
oh wow, I didn't realize it was built into the game like that.
Yeah,
that's awesome.
It's interactive. It's really cool. But yeah, it was great. I'm very excited, not mostly, but for a big reason being that it's the first game I finished in well over a month, and it was a great ride all the way through. Good time.
I definitely enjoyed it. I mean, it was a pretty great experience, and I thought it was told a pretty great story. So I'm definitely glad I got around to actually touching on it.
Yeah.
But so everybody, if you're still around after listening to this, thanks. But we're done for today now. So take care. We'll see you next time.
Thanks, guys. We'll see you later.